Have you ever had a thought hit you out of nowhere, like loud, urgent, really insistent, and you thought that has got to be God? Well, and then like a week later, you weren't so sure. So here's the hard truth. Your brain cannot always tell the difference between fear and genuine prompting. And today we're going to look at why, through scripture, through brain science, and through a simple filter, you can actually use next time you're not so sure whose voice you're hearing. Now, if you've ever wished you had a simple way to sort through this in the moment instead of untangling it after the fact, that's exactly what the peace test walks you through. The link is in the description.
Here's what's happening in your brain when anxiety takes over. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala. It's your alarm system. Its whole job is to scan for threat and react fast, before your slower, thinking brain even catches up. Recent brain research backs this up. When anxiety is high, that alarm center becomes overactive, and at the very same time, the part of your brain responsible for calm, reasoned thinking, your prefrontal cortex, actually quiets down. So, in a real practical sense, the more anxious you feel, the less access you have to clear thinking. That urgency that you feel, that's your alarm system firing. And urgency can feel exactly like certainty, even when it isn't. Here's where it gets interesting. Scripture actually describes this exact confusion 3,000 years before neuroscience had a name for it. In 1 Kings 19, the prophet Elijah is hiding in a cave, and God tells him to go stand on the mountain. First there's a windstorm, then an earthquake, then fire. Loud, dramatic, urgent. And Scripture tells us God wasn't in any of it. God was in what the text calls a gentle whisper, a still, small voice. If Elijah had gone with whatever felt loudest and most urgent, he would have missed God completely. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern worth paying attention to.
If you ever wished you had a simple way to sort through this in the moment instead of untangling it after the fact, that's exactly what the peace test walks you through. Link is in the description.
So, if urgency isn't the test, then what is? Philippians 4, 6, and 7 gives us the actual marker. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. Peace, not panic, is described as the evidence something is settled with God. And this just isn't a spiritual metaphor. Peace is a measurable state in your body. When you're anchored and calm, your nervous system is in what's sometimes called a safe and social state. Your heart rate steadies, your breathing slows, and your thinking brain comes back online. Fear does the opposite. It activates your fight or flight system, and as we just talked about, narrows your thinking down to threat and survival. You genuinely think differently depending upon what state you're in. That's why Isaiah 30:21 describes God's guidance as a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Quiet, directional, not dramatic. Discernment doesn't usually feel like a crisis. It feels like clarity. So, here's a simple, practical way to apply this the next time you're not sure whose voice you're hearing. Is this producing fear, or is it producing peace? Not, is this easy? Peace and ease are not the same thing, but is there an underlying steadiness, even if the decision itself is hard? Does this line up with wisdom, scripture, godly counsel, what you already know to be true? 1 John 4 tells us to test what we're hearing. Proverbs 15:22 reminds us that plans succeed with many advisors. You were never meant to sort this out totally alone. Would I still trust this if I gave it some space? Urgency resists waiting. Genuine discernment holds up over time. James 1:5 says if you lack wisdom, ask God for it, and He gives generously. That's an invitation to pause and ask, not a command to decide right now. Fear rushes you. Wisdom can wait a beat.
So next time that urgent thought hits, before you act on it, run through these 3 questions. Fear or peace? Aligned with wisdom or not? Steady over time or only in the moment? If you want a tool to actually walk through this step by step, the peace test is linked right below. It's built around exactly this framework. And if this helps bring you some clarity, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And we'll see you at the next pivot.